What's up, banana bunch? Bunch? Bunch?
Welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. Two titans of industry are collaborating here in Cincinnati. We love to see it. Maybe three if you include Jungle Gyms on this one, because today I'm inside the Graeter's location at the Fairfield Jungle Gyms, and I'm here with Shannon from Graeter's. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here today.
I'm super excited to be here today.
I think this might be the most excited I've been for an interview in some time. I mean, I know I've said this 100 times off camera, but now I'm saying it on camera, so you really know I mean it.
Well, this is my podcast debut, so I mean, not just audio either. It's either, both.
It's both.
I'm all in.
Well, you look incredible. You sound incredible. I'm excited about this. Why don't you tell everyone, well, obviously you're here with Graeter's. What do you do for Graeter's?
I am responsible for all of our grocery and wholesale sales across the country.
Sounds awesome.
If it's not in a Graeter's store, I get to do it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. And thank you for your service. This is my kind of treat in the general. I'm like, thank you for making it so easy. I saw some friends even in Florida recently posting, they're like, I went to a Skyline in Florida, and then they had Graeter's there. I was like, yes. Why would you even move back?
Oh, yeah. I know that store.
Do you? That's awesome.
They sell a lot of pints of ice cream.
I'm sure
Skyline.
they do.
Yes.
Well, I think we should lead in by, I say this all the time, explain it like I'm five. Who is Graeter's? What makes you all so special?
So Graeter's is a family-owned and operated company. We're currently in the fourth generation. The fifth generation's coming in.
Wow.
Company started in 1870 in the family's house in Walnut Hills. There was a shop on the bottom floor, and the family lived upstairs.
Oh, cool.
And back then, all ice cream was made very small batch, make, freeze, serve to the customers,
sure.
And repeat. So as Graeter's grew, as industry grew, and freezers became more available, many companies moved to what we call a continuous process, which is hundreds of gallons of ice cream being produced at once.
Sure.
Graeter's decided to keep to the core and continue to make ice cream in 2.5 gallon batches, as we still do today.
That's
154 years later.
That's crazy.
And it really is a phenomenal process when you see it in action. We've got 30 to 40 French pots running throughout the day. Like I said, 2.5 gallons at a time. And that process is what makes Graeter so unique. It's a slow churning, more like the way your grandparents would churn it with the ice on the outside.
I love that.
Hand cranking it, and very similar. We have a brine mixture on the outside of each pot.
Oh, cool. And
so the pot spins, but it spins slowly enough that air doesn't get whipped in. Most ice cream can be upwards of 50% air, whereas Graeter's is just 20% overrun or air inclusion.
Yeah.
And then you pair that with an 18% butterfat ice cream and many times our signature chocolate chips.
Oh, yeah.
And you get just a super indulgent, rich mouthfeel. And in fact, the ice cream is so dense and comes off the line so at 13 degrees versus a continuous process comes off at like 20. So it's more like a soft serve.
Oh, okay.
But it's thick enough that it can't be extruded through a machine. So every single pint of Graeter's is hand packed by an amazing team.
That's so cool.
An amazing team. Very strong arms, very strong people. But also really, really
just a fleet of Popeye the Sailor Man forearms. That's what I'm
picturing.
At
least one side, right? Right. The first time I met, there's a guy, Dominic, at the plant, and the first time I met him, he introduced himself and he was like, "I've packed 1 million pints." And I was like, "That's phenomenal." And just the ownership and the pride in it.
Yeah.
So everybody feels down there.
I have to imagine that's a process that's probably not adopted by a lot of businesses still to do this. But
No.
I think I'm looking directly at all of you when I say this. If you have ever tried Graeters, I mean, you know immediately that that's like,
It's
there's
different.
just this layer of quality that you don't know it until, well, you can feel it a little bit in your hands, right? Because
It's heavier.
it's way heavier, noticeably heavier. I feel like I'm going to turn that into a TikTok at some point too, to be like, oh,
Get the
how much
scales
air?
out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's what I was thinking to see. I'm like, because I know they're all hitting the same volume level, but I'm like, well, how much of that is air? And that's something I've been curious about forever. So hearing that you all have such a low percentage of runoff to me is very interesting and telling too. I mean, you can tell, like you said, it's a rich, indulgent ice cream. It's one of those
Totally.
ones that, it's so crazy good.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those things when I first moved here that I remember my sister and I just being like, these chocolate chips aren't chips, they're like glaciers.
Right.
One of my favorite things. So yeah, anytime they show up ever, I'm just like, oh, thank you, Graeters.
And so those chips are formed after the ice cream freezes in the French pot. It's kind of centrifuged all around the edges. And then the guys take paddles and kind of create ripples in the ice cream up the sides.
So cool.
I know, it's so neat. There's videos online. I mean, plenty of videos to get like a real picture of it. And then they pour melted gourmet chocolate that has just a little bit of oil in it to keep it from getting crunchy or hard.
Awesome.
And so that swings around the sides of the pot, it hardens, and then they take a paddle back down. And that's why, I always say, the chips are like snowflakes.
Yeah.
No two ever alike. And sometimes you get big pieces, but you always get like a nice dispersion of tiny little pieces throughout.
Oh, yeah.
And then who doesn't love to find the biggest piece? And that's the ultimate, right?
I was gonna say I have like a small bag of them at home. I'm keeping it. No, I'm kidding. Like a shrine to Graeter's chips.
I
I'm like,
know.
I finally got the biggest one.
No, totally. Whenever I do sampling events or whatnot, or I'm out and doing consumer tastings, if a big chunk comes through, I'll like push it off to the side. I'm like, it might be for me, or usually a customer comes up and they're like, I just love a big chip. And so I'm like, look what I got for you. Like, this is it.
It's the size of a small pizza.
It's your lucky day. As Andy in production will say, he's like, our goal is the size of one of those, like a ticket that you get at like a raffle or whatever, because then that makes sure that there's plenty in each pint and
I love that.
everybody gets their share.
That's a good size.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm trying to get 3 tickets.
I know. Many are.
Oh my gosh. As something obvious. Okay, look, I won't spoil this too far. I should at least mention the flavor. I know it's in the thumbnail, but today we're really here about the Skyline Spice with oyster crackers. It's real. It's coming out.
It's real.
Well, I guess today, this is release day. Before we dive too much into the creation of that flavor, I mean, what is your ideation process like overall at Graeters? Because I know we've got like monthly calendar of different flavors.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, I was just like, cinnamon's the only one I know, and that's coming in November. you know.
Right.
But now I kind of love it because it's like, what are we doing? Coconut. There's a coconut almond one right now, for example.
Chocolate coconut almond chip. That one's a mouthful,
crazy.
but it's
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, it's got so many components to it. And like the tiny the chips of almond and the coconut flakes. It's delicious. It's
amazing.
It's one of my favorites. I love all of our limited edition flavors. Most of them were permanent at some point, or some were permanent at one point and have come back on the limited status. Some are very just a seasonal and fit the season, like your pumpkin and your peppermint and your peach.
Right.
And our ideation process it's really fun. Like it's a little bit what consumers are saying on social, what they want to try or what they loved that we did before. A lot of it's looking at what else is going on in the industry.
Sure.
We were just talking earlier, there's a lot of interest right now in tiramisus and coffee flavors. And we saw that in our Scoop Olympics contest. I can't get it out.
I mean, I get it. I'd be excited too.
I know, right? Well, just to get to try all the stuff that all the stores create. So the stores create flavors based on what their customers are asking for and what the team members like.
Sure.
And so they get to create new stuff, and then eventually the winners make the wall.
Cool.
But so every summer, our new flavors, our new ideation come from what we call bonus season, bonus flavors. And My husband refers to it as like white pint season because it's the plain pints that have a very 4 to 5 different variations on one flavor.
Okay.
That we test. And then we finalize that flavor,
Sure.
and then those bonus flavors, 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6, launch throughout the summer in our stores, and we can get guest feedback, team feedback,
Sure.
to see what everybody liked, what they liked the most, and then the next year, the next March, our permanent flavor comes out of that selection.
That's really cool.
Normally, it's a really fun process to get to try different variations of everything.
Yeah.
Of all the different.
And I imagine for each one of these flavors, you're probably going through multiple versions of it, right? Because It's not just like, oh, we just landed, that's lemon meringue pie.
That was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. How many would you say you usually go through on average?
I asked Dave this morning, so I didn't mess it up because I wasn't sure.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Normally, a bonus flavor has 4 to 5 different batches till we find the one that's just what we wanted.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yes.
Well, then we got to lead into the Skyline
Yes.
Spice flavor. So I know we've talked a little bit how there was like a minor leak in the fall.
Yeah.
I've said this a billion times off camera, so this is another one I have to admit to the public. I was so excited when I saw it, right? Because like in my head, I think I've envisioned it somewhat similarly to how I'm guessing it came out. So I'm very excited to find that. But who do I have to thank for this creation realistically?
I know that it was a collaboration of a ton of people. And so it wasn't one person.
Sure.
And it was grocery people, it was Skyline and Graeters being friends and family members within the city. And everybody thought, God, how neat would this be? Like if other people are doing wild LTO flavors, limited time offer flavors, why aren't we? 2 of the most iconic brands in Cincinnati, all with multiple storefronts, and really our regionality is very similar. Like we all are based here in Cincinnati, but have awesome loyal fans in Columbus and Louisville and Lexington and Indianapolis and Florida.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a very funny ring.
Our most southern Midwest market, Florida.
There's just like one bright spot down there. You're like, oh, that's so crazy.
But there are. There's so many Midwesterners down there, though.
Of course.
They take their love of the brands with them and they share it with everybody.
I think that's actually really cool. I have some family down there too who, when they were still in New York, would always be like, okay, you guys are doing things interesting in Cincinnati. And then I remember a couple of years ago, they're like, what did you do? You brought it down to Florida. I was like, you're welcome. And I was like, try the ice cream. I think that's so incredible. And I have to imagine that this was, with so many more people, did you go through more versions of this than normal, would you say? I'm guessing it's got to be like 30.
I thought it was going to be that high too. I was thinking 25. It was closer to 15.
Oh, that's
15
cool.
versions, yes.
With that many heads in the room, I'm impressed, truly.
Well, and because it is so unique and it's so different, to add a savory aspect to Graeter's ice cream, something we have not tried before.
Yeah.
Although I think it's a really relevant trend that you were like, well, do we make it a savory flavor? Does it get chocolate chips? Does it have cheese in it? Does it?
Sure.
What goes in this that makes
I would have
it
tried the cheese version.
the perfect pairing, And so, or do we add additional spices because that the dairy base it's sweet and it really absorbs spice. It evens it out, but it absorbs it. So do we need there was a conversation, do we need more paprika and chili powder? Do we need more cumin in it?
Yeah.
Like, who knows? To give that chili vibe.
Right.
And ultimately everybody agreed, like it, and Graeter's is an authentic company. I think that's something I'm proud of working for the company. We are true to our core. Like I said, like that goes back to making it in the most difficult way possible, but doing it because that is what is best for the brand, for the product, and it's what our consumers know and love, and it's what keeps Graeter's unique and different. And so to leave that authenticity and try and change Skyline's really authentic flavor would have been a terrible idea.
Oh yeah.
So it's authentic Skyline chili flavor, cooked into Graeter's sweet cream base, and it's phenomenal.
And there's crackers in there too, right?
We did.
I love that.
I mean, you can't have Skyline without your bullet
I'm serving mine with
right?
hot sauce.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that. We're like, do we stick a little thing of their iconic hot sauce on
That's
it? Like,
honestly kind of funny. Yeah.
There's so many variations of what people expect, because we all get completely different things at Graeter's and at Skyline, right? Like, we all have our core bases, but Skyline has tons of amazing things to offer.
Absolutely.
And I think people go for the three-way chili, where it's at Graeter's, people go for black raspberry chip.
Of course.
But then, like, Skyline has the best Greek salad in Cincinnati.
For sure.
For sure.
My mom's going to love to hear that we mentioned that today. That's her go-to item.
Oh my God, it's so good. And their pinto bean mix, that is my go-to. I love it. It's amazing. And I feel the same way about Graeter's. Like, try our s'mores, try our black cherry chip. We have so many flavors that are made the way that all of our ice cream is made, but are new variations on popular flavors.
I got really addicted to strawberry chip last season. I was just like, oh gosh, I didn't know how badly I wanted this. And let me just throw this out there. As a longtime peppermint chocolate enjoyer, peppermint chip this year went crazy. Joe can confirm. I annoyed her repeatedly, and I was very aggressively trying to buy. I was like, I'll buy the whole bucket. She's like, I don't think they'll like if I do that. I'm like, I'm not telling on you. She stuck to the rules, thankfully for her, but not for me. Anyway, thank you so much. That was one I was so excited to come out, though.
No, you're right. And we all love LTOs.
Yeah.
Like, seasonal offerings, something different. It's not a huge investment. It's a small portion. It's not like you're getting a big box store, gigantic size of something you've never tried before. It's a pint, it's a scoop, it's a milkshake. It's value added. It's right there.
Of course.
You can try something fun. You can share it with your friends and family. You can have it alone and in your office with multiple scoops.
I mean, it's almost like you have a camera in there. That is weirdly how I enjoy it.
But you are also, I have to comment on the strawberry chip. That is one of our spring seasonals. And that item has grown so much. I think it is, when we post on social what customers want next or permanent, that's flavor pops up all the time. And really, even for like a spring cooler season, it sells almost as much as our summer peach does now.
Oh wow, that's crazy. But cool. I mean, it's a delicious flavor.
Yes.
It's the power of the chip, honestly. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you can put a chip in anything. I'm like, oh, I also like strawberry.
You might be right.
Well, I think we should taste it, because I heard a rumor you brought some of the prototypes and the real deal for me to try. Is there anything before we go behind the counter that we should tease the audience with in the future? Are there new LTOs showing up this year?
There will be.
And you don't have to tell me all the details. This is my Jungle Jim's exclusive.
No. Well, as we do every year, we'll have our bonus flavors starting in May in the stores. And so those release every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the summer. So get in there, try them, give us your feedback, because we need those, and good, bad, ugly. We want to hear what consumers think so that we can perfect it, tweak it, and launch the next flavor that everybody wants.
I can't wait to see what those will be
I think this summer we're going to see a lot of spins on baked goods.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's very trendy.
Ooh.
Fruit's trendy, cookies inclusions. So I mean, can you go wrong with
no
baked goods and ice cream.
I don't think I've gone
so.
wrong with any of your flavors. I joke with this a lot, but this feels like one of the places where the expression "it's all good" was born. You know.
Let's try some ice cream.
Yeah,
then.
I am really excited for that. All right, well,
Okay.
let's get behind the counter.
Let's go.
Okay, we're back behind the bar here at Graeter's. It's scoop time. Look at this, everybody. I've got some fun prototypes of the Skyline Spice ice cream. So this first one here, this has chili powder, paprika, and cumin in it. We've got one that has cheese and crackers. The internet was right. They guessed one of the things. And then, of course, the final version. I'm so excited. What do you think? What should I do? Just dive in?
I would go less to
final.
final.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll
That
go
doesn't make
spicy
any
first.
sense. So yeah, we're going with, this is
Oh.
authentic Skyline Spice, doctored with the thought that maybe it needed to have let's call it more traditional.
Chili powder. Yeah, I can.
Chili powder,
It
like-
smells like Skyline with like a little extra in it
Yep,
right now.
yep.
I'm hyped. This is so silly. Cincinnati, this is what it was all for. This is why I
One
moved here.
of 15. They're good.
I'm very excited for the final version
Yes.
right now.
No, it's okay.
No. I meant that in a nice way. I'm now in my head, I'm like, yes, I think this is going exactly where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
And that is really good. I see why you would put the extra, like I'm definitely getting the extra chili powder and a little bit of the cumin more than anything in there. It's good. It tastes like a
Flavored.
homemade version of like a Cincinnati chili, right? Where you're like, all right, we'll make it. This is when the relatives come to visit, and I got to
Right.
kind of like ease them into it. I'm like, you all lived in Oklahoma too long. That's cool. Oh, I'm like, keep wanting to dive in.
I know, and that's the interesting thing. You think like, oh, I don't know if I would like that, and then you're like, oh wait, I'm gonna take another bite though. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Oh, this is one of those that if you left these, if you left me alone with these, I would be on camera in my office just eating them all. All right, so what's
Okay.
the next one here it really does have cheese and
It really does have
Let's go.
cheese. It has a cheese flake as well as a traditional oyster cracker. This
there it
is pure Skyline Spice, and the toppings we know and love, right?
Yeah, I love it.
It's that authentic cheese flavor. Oh, you went all in.
I wanted to make sure I got a little bit. I saw some cheese. I see some
you need
cracker.
it.
We
You
need the full
it.
experience.
Yes. Now, I tried multiple variations with the cheese. I've eaten the cheese alone. I don't necessarily recommend eating the cheese alone, but
Yeah, always eat cheese with a friend.
the cheese flakes on their own were a bit salty, a little strong. So then we tested even like a cheese flake that had less salt.
Okay.
Thinking that still might be the way to go. Ultimately, decided that flavor profile was too far off from that fresh grated amazing cheese that
I see what you
Skyline
mean.
has.
It hits a very
It's
salty
a different,
note. Yeah.
It's a different texture. It's not what we love about Skyline.
I think I do like the texture. The crackers are awesome in there.
Sweet.
I honestly would put the crackers in more food, I think, because it doesn't really,
Right.
like knowing it's crackers, I'm taking it, but in general, it just has like that nice kind of, I don't want to say doughy, but like a little something in there.
Yeah.
I really like that. The
You
cheese,
can.
the cheese is good, but I agree. I think it's like a little too salty.
It gets too
And
far.
You lose a little of like the authentic cheese flavor, and it goes a little more.
Yeah.
And I imagine because I can't imagine trying to freeze regular cheese into ice cream.
Yeah.
So you have a little
Yeah.
bit more of that, like I don't know how to say it, but like that powdered cheese note on it.
It's kind of like if I compare it to the cheese filling that's in those Ritz crackers that we all love.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
So if you really want some cheese in your Skyline ice cream, then you just get that fresh bagged Skyline
just eat
grated
it. Yeah.
cheese.
It's like a little sidecar. Well, I mean, I guess I got to go for the final countdown
The
here.
final. So this was a delicious.
There's a good cracker.
This
I
is
saw it.
delicious. It's we had multiple variations on how much spice mix to put in.
Yeah.
So we've tested, 20%, 30%, 40%, and finally landed on the right base
Yeah.
that conveyed the Skyline Spice flavor
Sure.
with of course oyster crackers. You gotta have that crunchy salty. Like that's my
absolutely.
jam. Like if I don't finish a meal with some crunch, then
Yeah. We're all
I'm
going home
like,
upset.
oh, I need more.
I'm so excited right now. And the smell is so, I mean, it just hits that right nostalgic note. I get the creaminess, but I also smell the
Totally,
Skyline on there.
totally.
All right, here we go, everyone.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I see why that's the winner. Hands down. That's crazy. Hold on, I gotta eat the cracker.
I'm so
too.
glad. Get that crunchy factor.
The cracker came out even better in this one,
Oh, yeah?
I think. In that, yeah, you're still getting that salty crunch, but the crunch is, I mean, I'm hoping you
More
can hear it.
distinct.
It's a really crunchy. It was a little softer, it felt like, in that one.
Right. Well, and that was like a factor of that being made. So it looks like that one was actually made in August. So for anybody who is wondering about the leak,
Yeah.
this collaboration.
real.
This collaboration was happening. We were working it out. We were figuring out the details and
That's
still
so
trying to
good.
get the flavor base down. But Skyline and Graeters were we've all been all in for quite a while now.
This is like, it kind of almost hits like, we talked about the fall spices and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm really happy that I was like, it does hit kind of that like fall spice note.
But it's not
No.
like I want this in October.
Right. And it's like, to me, I get maybe a hint, and I'm sure it's because the spices used in Skyline are similar. I get a hint of almost like eggnogginess, but not really. Again, it's Skyline first, but like in the ballpark, right? Like a spice creamy thing. This is, I'm really legitimately, I know we were joking off
so
camera. I'm
glad
like,
you
I think I'm
love
gonna
it.
love this. This is like one of the best ones yet, in my opinion.
That's
And
amazing.
I think
love
even
it.
good by itself, but when you get the bite of cracker in there too,
Mm-hmm.
it just puts it on. The cracker combo in there, that little punch of saltiness and the crunch, instantly screams Skyline to me.
Right.
But it's still a delicious, even though it's got like this savory note, it's still delicious, sweet ice cream. This is going to go crazy.
I mean, you can't have Skyline. You can't leave a Skyline experience and not have had at least a cracker
Yeah.
or 2 or 3 bowls.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Again, it's like you've watched me eat it.
Oh, no, I've been there. I've been
No.
there myself.
We love the
Because
multiple
you're like,
crackers.
I'm not going to eat the crackers today. I'm not going to eat the crackers today.
Yeah.
And then before your food comes, you're like, oh,
Can
I need another bowl.
Yeah. I'm like, no, what are they? They're Coke products. And I was like, no mellow yellow, 2 mellow yellows. You know, and there's just something about the combination that goes crazy. Oh my gosh, Shannon, this blew my mind.
I love it.
I'm so excited about it.
How about Sundays?
I think we should try to make one.
I mean, if they're known for 3 ways, what if we make it 3-way or a 4-way or
Okay,
a
yeah.
5-way Sunday?
So what do we pick? Like a couple toppings, and why don't we each do that, and then we'll try each other's Sunday and see what we
I
think.
think that's a great idea.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
All right, we made our Sundays. Shannon, why don't you tell me what you put in yours first?
So I have got Skyline Chili Spice with oyster crackers, Graeter's dark chocolate brownie.
Sounds killer.
Got to get a little chocolate mix in there.
Mhm.
Then I felt like our peanut butter topping might be a nice accoutrement to both flavors. And then along the side, I filled in with some hot fudge because you can't go wrong with hot fudge.
Yeah.
And then top it off with a smiley face because who doesn't love a good smiley face?
I honestly, you brought me back.
I mean, right? So I have an 11-year-old who can't live without it. So that's where that is. And there are some sprinkles in there. I'm like, I do prefer, if I'm going to get a 3-way, 4-way, it's going to be a 5-way. So I like as many layers as possible into my flavor.
So mine, I was inspired by that as well. Mine has onion and mustard in it. I went.
Delicious. I can't wait.
That would be terrifying. Wait till I make people eat a coney that way. But I'm doing a scoop of Skyline Spice ice cream. I did a scoop. We were talking about how coffee might play well with it, so I did Graeter's
I'm
mocha
excited
chip
for
ice
that.
cream. I always forget how good Graeter's whipped cream is.
Homemade.
Yeah, and I was like, oh gosh, I need access to that tub all the time.
Right.
But I did that. I did a little hot fudge, and of course, what would a sundae be without a cherry on top? I think this is going to be delicious. I think we should each try our own, and then
I'm
we'll
in.
switch dishes and see which one's
I'm
best.
in.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make sure we get
I know. we
a
gotta
solid
get
bite of all the
everything.
flavors.
Oh, I can feel that cracker in there. And the
Little whip.
spice.
I'll save the cherry for you.
It's like this could be like that wedding picture where you're shoving it into each other's faces.
This is Shannon and my first look. Okay, the coffee goes pretty crazy with this.
The peanut butter is not bad.
I think the peanut butter sounds really interesting too. I mean, like you said, I've never had a time where hot fudge made anything worse. Even during a root canal. It was crazy that I brought it with me, but my dentist
Through
was
the
cool.
straw.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's good.
Oh,
So I'm
that
taking
hot
one more.
fudge is really good. You
Yeah.
are right. Like I just did the hot fudge separate, but I love a good duo. Like I love I play a game every time I go to Graeter's.
Yeah.
Like, what's the double dip pairing?
Oh, I love that.
So, like, my son does salted caramel and birthday cake, which
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. We do a lot with cookies and cream too.
Of course, yeah. That's a versatile combo. Yeah, I love that.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more bite. And then
Yeah, please.
I'll
No, I did the same thing. I was like, oh, this is really delicious. I've never had a sundae this early in my life, so I'm very excited about this happening
It's
right now.
almost 11
It's
o'clock.
I know, right? And you'd think, just by looking at me, you'd guess I'm a 10 a.m. Sunday kind of guy. You're wrong. It's steak in the morning.
All right.
That's cool. All right, you want to switch
swap.
dishes?
Yes.
All right. I'm really curious about the peanut butter. I think that's a great idea.
So I got super focused on mine. What did you think about the coffee flavor with the Skyline Spice?
Oh, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think coffee's a potent flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say in the future, I think I'm glad I went mocha chip rather than just coffee.
Okay.
You know what I actually think would be kind of a fun way to do this is I joked about the affogato earlier, but I think if I just made a shot of espresso and served it with the Skyline Spice,
Oh, yeah.
that would be the way.
sure.
But I do think it is a good combo still. So look at this. We got the peanut butter, I got the dark chocolate
Yum.
brownie, got the Skyline Spice, and a little
Got a
whip.
lot going on. Mm.
If nothing else, I want to eat peanut butter and oyster crackers now.
Oh, well, yeah, that's like a perfect snack. Who doesn't
That's
like
another
peanut
one
butter
that-
on their cracker?
Yeah, right? That's another good one where that peanut butter does pair surprisingly
Well,
well.
and it's got like it's not a super sweet peanut butter
Exactly.
sauce, so it's got the salt kind of component coming in.
Yeah. It keeps it like lightly savory. I really like that.
I like the coffee with it.
Yeah, I think we both just made excellent Sundays. Now we have to fight each other to the death in the parking
Yeah.
lot. I was not looking forward to that. We were getting along so well.
Maybe we could just let consumers make their own choice.
Okay.
Tell us what you would pair.
I would like to know what you would pair with the Skyline Spice and once you try it. And you're watching this video, so you probably actually came in to see me to try some samples today. I'm pretty stoked about that. But now, Shannon,
See it.
I had one more thing of doom here, and I thought we took the classic pint. I'll go one more clean spoon and get the peanut butter out of my mouth.
I'm pretty
So
sure
I-
you're going to be able to have that one when we're done.
Yeah, exactly. I made friends with this pint. So I put a little shredded cheese. We did a cracker, and I was just realizing, I was like, I don't think it's complete yet.
That's not.
Pile, we need a little hot sauce in this bad boy, because what would a Skyline come on, let me shake it in
Go
there.
all
this,
in.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Okay. We'll do the same thing, get a little good bite, get a little cheese. I think the cheese is probably delicious in this.
I'm sure that cheese is going to be so tasty with it. Salty, sweet. Not bad. Has the spice in it.
The spice is awesome in it. The cheese is pretty good.
All right.
I know
I'm
I
in.
mostly did it for the joke.
But,
I mean, it's pretty good.
all right.
Yeah, please.
I'm in.
So I don't know why I was like, get your own.
I know. I was like, oh, this is going to get awkward.
The hot sauce is good. The extra oyster cracker is not bad. But that's like, so now tasting it this way, I'm like, oh, I see why Prototype had the cheese in it. That is kind of good. It like adds like a little.
I kind of like the hot sauce flavor with it.
I think the
That
hot sauce
herring.
is great. Yeah. It's like surprisingly good.
It
Hot
really
sauce and
is.
ice cream. That's like a whole new ballpark of flavor that I
still
feel
have
like.
it going on. Yum.
Yeah, I'm like
I
thinking
love-
about it.
I
I'm
love
taking
it.
another
I
bite
love
of the
a
doom.
good heat finish. Yum. And I'm going to take another bite of yours.
Get wild. Shannon, this was
What do you
awesome.
think?
This
was so fun. This was
I love it. Like, I know we joked. I'm
great
like,
way.
ooh, I know people are going to be like a little like excited, maybe a little heated about this. And then once they try it, it's going to extinguish the flames. It's delicious. This is so good. I mean, seriously, this is probably one of the most interesting and delicious like LTOs you guys have come up with, in my opinion.
We are super proud of it and
Yeah.
super excited. And like I said, it's so fun to get to work with another Cincinnati brand.
Of course.
There's just so many different people collaborating and excited, and we have so many awesome people here in Cincinnati, and so many unique foods and unique traditions that I felt like the perfect collaboration.
Oh, for sure. And I honestly, I'm like excited just to eat more and more of this. This is really good.
Keep going.
I will.
We got lots coming.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what all of you think about this. And make sure you say something nice to Shannon and Graeters in the comments for me today. Thank you so much for
My
coming out and do this. I
pleasure.
really had a great time. Thank you.
I did
I'm
too.
honored. Truly.
This was a blast.
From bathing
More
in the
to
chili to
come.
just eating it.
I mean, more to come.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, cheers. I think on that note, we should let's just eat these Sundays in
Let's eat
private.
some more ice cream. Yeah, I'm gonna put some hot sauce on mine now.
Yeah, go for it. Whoa, that was so awesome for real. I'm so excited about this. Thank you for letting me be a part of this really historic launch. I loved it so much. I'm probably going to eat it as soon as I'm done shooting this. So if you like this video, leave me a like on here. Leave a comment down below telling me how excited you are to try it. Or if you've tried it by the time you watched it, let me know how you make yours up, okay? Well, I'm going to get back to it. So in the meantime, I'll see you out there in the ice cream aisles.
The Jungle Gyms podcast is recorded in the WJJI studio inside Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield, Ohio. The Jungle Gyms podcast is produced and hosted by Mark Borison.